here's what's happening with Lamentations. I want to explain the book for you before we get into chapter 3. Here's what it is in the book of Lamentations. You've got here in Lamentations, you've got 1 and 5, chapters 1 and 5, they are summaries of what's happening. So we're going to put a 1 here, and we're going to put a 5 here. If you've got your Bible open, write this in your Bible somewhere so you can remember. So we got 1 and 5. Those chapters are summaries of the big picture of what's happening in Lamentations, of Jerusalem being taken over by the Babylonians. Then you have 2 and 4 are going to give us more details of that. Okay? So we're going to end up with greater details. 2 and 4 is where our details are going to be in Lamentations. And then where we're going to look today is in chapter 3. And chapter 3 is going to give us hope of what takes place, that we can place our hope in God. So follow me on this. Big details in chapter 1, big summaries in chapter 1, details in chapter 2, the crescendo, the apex, the height, that there is hope even in the midst of this. And then we're going to get some more details in chapter 4 and a big summary in chapter 5. Now let me tell you one other thing, just so you'll understand as we hit this book of Lamentations. These first 4 chapters are all 22 verses. I should say this. They're based upon the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. All right? So this is going to be 22 verses. This is going to be 22 verses. Chapter 4 is going to be 22 verses. This is going to be based on 22 verses, or 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. But it's going to be 3 verses per alphabet letter. Okay? Now, I hope I didn't confuse you. Basically, what you need to know is these 4 chapters are based on the Hebrew alphabet. It'd be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's called a mnemonic device. You ever remember when you were trying to memorize the rainbow? Roy G. Biv, trying to memorize the colors of the rainbow? Or maybe you look in the New Testament and you're thinking General Electric Power Company, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. So that's what it's doing, is it's saying, I want you to remember these things, even of the pain. And I want you to remember these things of the hope. And so they put it in an acrostic with the Hebrew letters, 22 letters of their alphabet, and it goes through those 22 letters. It is a tough thing in Lamentations. Lamentations, the Hebrew word actually means alas, or how. It means to weep as well. But if you looked at that true Hebrew word, it'd be how. Don't you, when you get in your trials, you go, how? How did I end up here? How did I end up with this hurt? How did this happen? Have you ever looked at what's going on in our society? How did we end up here? How did we end up with all this chaos? How did we end up with all these things? So Lamentations is going to take us through this. Now, we're just going to look at chapter 3, just a part of chapter 3. But we all have a path of pain. Don't think it's strange. We've all got a path of pain in our life.
Hey, thanks for watching. To find out more about Houston's First, you can subscribe to our channel or you can go to houstonsfirst.org.